My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for High Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at High Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. High Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
On today's show, we head to Calder Park Raceway in Melbourne for the latest instalment of the Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series. Then we head to Sydney Motorsport Park as our final round coverage of the Shannons Nationals continues. Today, we feature the Australian Production Car Series and Formula 3. This is Speedweek.
Welcome to the mighty Calder Park here in Melbourne. The Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series continues with the Rowe Memorial Trophy, honouring the great legacy of Andrew and Wayne Rowe. Aaron Hambridge.
Great to be back in Melbourne, Lockie. I was lucky enough to work alongside Wayne on Santa Episoda's Top Fuel Car years ago, and tell you what, I was young and fit and he outperformed me, that's for sure.
Is that right? There you go. Well, I tell you what, we've got some immaculate action coming your way. Let's first throw down to Becky Lamb, who's in the pits.
The Rowe Memorial Superstock Classic is happening right now, but I want to talk to Peter Ridgway, a very good friend of Andrew Rowe. Peter, talk us through your friendship and your history together.
Oh, look, we became friends in the 70s. Andrew was a street racer who later on turned into a drag racer as such. And he was an icon in the Dandenong area. He worked at a speed shop called Super Plus at the time, which was probably the premier speed shop in Melbourne, if not Australia.
What would this event, being named after him, mean to him?
Look, you know, the world of drag racing through that period, they were icons, and I think he'd be chuffed to have an event named after him, especially Superstock. He was a Superstock racer in the end. His brother Wayne was the driver. Wayne was the driving force behind the car and the engine builder. So, look, you know, it'd mean a lot to him. He was a very proud man.
Oh, terrific stuff there from Becky Lamb talking to Peter Ridgway about the great Dandenong boys, the Rowe brothers, Wayne and Andrew, such pivotal figures of drag racing in this country. Let's now have a look at the leaderboard competition first of all. And there you have it, Craig Geddes, who leads from David DeQuinn and Nathan Coles. Geddes with a comfortable lead at this stage. Superstock and Kim Fardella and Graham Sims there. They have locked horns. They're top of the table, the pair of them, Jamie Chasty and Louis Fingos there as well. Let's have a look at some early action from today. Round 2 highlights, and Daniel Camilleri, who's on right of screen there, he set a new record in round 1. New record for the Double D gas. It was 161.61 miles per hour, if you don't mind. He lost out there, though, to Tommy Dimitropoulos in round 2. Now we're having a look at Michael Carrasco, who's red led here. Darren Parker takes the green light, and he'll go through to round 3. Now Nick Karantonis and Mick Simic. And have a look at the reaction time here of Karantonis. 0.03, but not good enough. It's Simic who goes through to round 3. A lad there from Bell Park in the Chev Camaro getting it done beautifully. Let's have a look at a pair of Pontiacs now. Les Heinz, who's the reigning champion of the Rowe Memorial Trophy. And he's up against Hugo Di Giovancesco Ubioti, but it is Les Heinz who gets it done, and he remains in contention to successfully defend his title. Supercomp semi-final time now. Mick Simic and Tommy Dimitropoulos, Aaron Hambridge.
These two cars running on the same index here, identical body shape. The only difference I can tell is one's an automatic and one's got a manual transmission. So, the index will vary slightly, but the only difference here between these two cars is the gearbox.
I want to touch on something you said earlier. These blokes out here are racing for the Rowe Memorial Trophy. Wayne Rowe, a legend of the sport, and you had a personal encounter.
Yeah, so many years ago I was asked to go on crew with Santa Reposado one weekend. A good friend of mine, Luke Shepherd, was driving the car. And I was doing one cylinder head, he was doing the other. I'm young and fit and thought I'd be running rings around here.
Speaking of running rings, how about this? It's Tommy Dimitropoulos who finds his way into a final here at Calder Park, running a 7.57 over a dialing time of 7.77.
Yeah, he had to push it pretty hard then. He had to run 200s underneath his index to win that race. So I wouldn't say he drove it completely out the back door, but yeah, he was only shutting that thing off right near the finish line.
Great work there. Tommy Dimitropoulos goes through. Semi-final number 2 coming our way. Les Heinz and Darren Parker. Now, Les Heinz, absolutely tremendous stuff. In his second pass, he set a new elapsed time record for BMP, 7.03, Aaron Hambridge.
Yeah, Les is one of the great guys of Superstock racing. He's been around forever. One of the smartest guys out there. You can see him there, shifting gears in the burnout. They'll throw 3-4 gears. The car's almost in top gear. Those back tyres are almost doing 200 mile an hour and the car's stationary.
And Les Heinz, of course, he is the reigning champion here for Super Comp as well. 2 Victorians, both in Pontiacs. Who say you in this one?
To me, Les would have to be the favourite here. He's been in the class for so long and he does so well. Current champ, setting records. My money would be on Les. 0.16 from Heinz. That's a great reaction time.
It's Parker who gets through an ET of 6.19 over a dial-in time of 6.43. Darren Parker into a final here.
Yeah, Les Heinz kind of slowed up a little bit there. I'd almost say there might be something wrong. No shoots come out, anything like that. He really just got driven around, which is unusual for that car.
What a final coming your way next. Let's now have a look at the Super Sedan leaderboard after that round 3 result in Mildura. Peter Zokas out in front, 20 points ahead of George Tipakidis, Steve Hunt, and Johnny Kapiris, 4-time reigning champ, 60 points back in 4th position. And now we move into highlights from round 3. Joe Bresciano, who edges out Michael Vlaslakakis. The old school Camaro's on show, magnificent stuff though. It is Bresciano from Wallen who goes through. Now it's Danny Bucella and Johnny Kapiris, the 4 times reigning champ, and Johnny Kapiris, who's sponsored by the gang at St Bernard's Fruit and Veg. You'll have a look at finals action. And last up, Alex Groidus and Michael Milasevic, lightning fast reaction times here. Groidus 0.011 and Milasevic 0.016, but it's Groidus who goes through. Aaron Hambridge time now, Super Sedan semi-final time, and we've got Sinisha Skroinjug up against Alex Groidus.
2 Fords here, old school Ford Cortina in the left lane and the new Falcon in the right lane. It'll be an interesting matchup. We'll see who gets on top, old versus new.
What's going on here? Garmin Verb Replay and the Groidus automobile with a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, they're about to pop the bonnet up and have a look here.
That's not good. So Skroinjug will just waltz on down, solo pass.
Yeah, bias straight into the final. See if he tests his dial in here or not. He'll either push it out the back and see how fast he can go, or show it off early, take it safe.
So ET 10.2 over a dial in a 9.06. And Skroinjug through to a final here at Calder Park. Up now, Johnny Kapiris and Joe Bresciano. Kapiris, 4-time reigning champion.
This guy features in just about every single show we do. He's the best at the moment. 4 times in a row. And does it all on his own. You hardly ever see him with any crew guys out there, but he's got a good car. He's obviously an unreal driver, and listen, my money will be on Johnny here.
All right, so Johnny Kapiris up against Joe Bresciano. Let's have a look and a listen. It's Kapiris who gets it done. You're right, Aaron.
Yeah, you watch here. I think we've got an in-car shot. You'll see Johnny, just as he gets to the end, he actually gets off the throttle and jumps on the brakes just to make sure he doesn't break out. Just as he gets towards the finish line here, you watch. You'll see his head go forward as he slows down. He's just looking across. There you go. Off the throttle. starts to slow the car down there.
Fascinating insight. Aaron Hambridge in special comments here. All thanks to Garmin Verb, the replay. And in the final, we'll have Johnny Kapiras taking on Sinisha Scroinjug. We move now to modified bike. We'll have a look at the leaderboard after Mildura. It's Brian Finn out in front, just 10 points ahead of Gordon Crawford, the Robert Redford of the sport, Matty Lyle, Leith Darrich, Colin Sainsbury, Brian Moore, the man they call Brains from Alice Springs, Darren McGregor and Murray High rounding out the leaderboard. We'll now have a look at round 2 highlights, and Brendan Sanders up against Edgel Malice. And Malice the superior reaction time, but Sanders gets it done down the strip and he will go through to the semi-finals. Speaking of which, Gavin Don't and Matty Lyle also progressed to semi-final action. They ran solo passes. And now Shane Walker up against Robert Redford himself, Gordon Crawford, who's only 10 points adrift from the top of the leaderboard. But it's Shane Walker who gets on through. The boy from Bacchus Marsh is in a semi-final. How about that? Here at the mighty Calder Park for the Rowe Memorial Trophy. Final action, modified bike, and we've got Gavin Don't, who won an Australian title last outing at Calder Park up against Brendan Sanders. You have a look at this, Sanders on a 600cc bike and Don't 1340cc bike, so twice the engine size for Don't. What factors that, Aaron Hambridge, in dial-in racing?
Listen, it's not the be-all of end-all. In heads-up racing and drag racing, the bigger, badder, faster engine's always going to win. In dial-your-own racing, there is still an advantage to being the faster bike. You have more control over the race. You can see what's happening in front of you. You're not guessing what's happening behind you. So it is always still an advantage to be the faster competitor in dial-your-own racing.
And it's Gavin Don't. Have a look at this Garmin Verb replay, Aaron Hambridge.
Yeah, identical lights by both those guys, so now it comes down to the skill of the ride and the skill of, basically guessing how fast or calculating how fast your bike's going to run. But Don't almost on a perfect run there as far as, what he dialed in at and what he actually ran.
Okay, so Gavin Don't is through the final. Who takes on him? It's Matty Lyle up against Shane Walker.
Yeah, Matt Lyle's competed every round so far, and he's done pretty well. I think he won the opening round after a bit of a horror trip up to Darwin. That bike's performing well. He's actually a former super compact racer. I think he has I just can't remember. I think it's a Ford Pro maybe. He's raced in America, very successful on 4 wheels, and he's proving he's just as successful on 2.
Walker superior reaction time, but it is Matty Lyle who gets him down the strip. Have a look at this.
Yeah, Matt celebrating there, and he knew he got the win. His bike was a little slow off the line. Looks like he rolled off the line, and it showed, and his reaction time was quite a fair way off. But unfortunately for Shane, he just didn't have the package all together, and he ran a little bit off his dialing, cost him the race.
So it will be Gavin Don't up against Matty Lyle in our modified bike final. Let's have a good look now at the Supercharged Outlaws leaderboard after round 3. Justin Russell, a 30-point lead ahead of the huntsman Mark Hunt. Adam Murray, who's not here at Calder Park, is in 3rd spot doing a day. Alan Mancop, then it's Mark Zausch as well. Round 1 highlight time now, and Jason Kiley looking like a gangster in the 34 Ford Coupe, and he gets through up against Justin Russell of Albion, Victoria there. Up next, Doina Day and Wayne Talbot. And it's Talbot, real trouble there, doesn't get off the line, and Doina Day will progress through to round 2. The next battle will see Craig Gertis up against Mark Hunt, the huntsman, and he's been awarded Best Presented, he and his pushback girl Hot Lips. But it's Craig Gertis who gets through, hasn't won since 2005. Let's see how Gertis goes. Craig Gertis and Doina Day, semi-final time now, Aaron Hambridge. And as we were saying, so Craig Gertis hasn't won since Sydney in 2005. Been a long time.
He's been one of the long-time runners in this category and a lot of the Pro Street races as well. And it's a classic-looking car. Bar that thing hanging out the bottom, the big supercharger there, it looks like a street car. And then you've got against the classic open car drag racing here, a rear-engine dragster. The dragster there with that classic supercharged sound, the idle rolling over and over. I get many a customer come in and ask me for their street car to sound like that. And I just tell them it's just not possible unless they want to get arrested and have their car impounded. Ooh, big mistake there.
Hang on a sec. What's happened here?
I don't know what happened there? A little bit itchy feet, something like that? Listen, I've seen some crazy things happen in drag racing, and unfortunately I've been the receiver of quite a few red lights. When you're going into stage like that and you're ready to leave, your adrenaline's pumping. Like, you really are on edge, and the littlest thing can set you off. So, big mistake there, but unfortunately. You notice there in the dash, Dorna shuts the car off early, and that might have been a blessing in disguise there. You can see low oil coming up on the dash of the car, so there may be actually a problem with the engine in that, and not making a full flat-out run. You can see there, butterflies are closed, shut off. There could be a problem there, and not making that run might have saved an engine or some sort of other damage.
Jason Kiley from West Melbourne, looking like a gangster, just going to roll through easy here.
Yeah, this is one of my favourite cars in this category. Every time I'm in Melbourne I see this car. I was there a couple of weeks ago for the Nitro Funny Car round, and I had a good look at this car. It's beautiful. Yeah, it does have that sort of Bonnie and Clyde gangster look to it.
It does. All right, solo pass, just has to roll forward, and it's all done and dusted. Into a final is Jason Kiley. A whole heap more action coming your way. The Rowe Memorial Trophy here from the mighty Calder Park, all part of the Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series. Welcome back to the mighty Calder Park Motorsport Coliseum here at Diggers Rest, about 20 clicks northwest of Melbourne. And we've got the Rowe Memorial Trophy, all part of the Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series. And time now for the modified eliminator. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. And it's Zach Shepherd with a 10-point lead ahead of Leanne Braggs. Grant Radcliffe is in third spot. Gavin Chisnell, who had the win up in Alice Springs in round 2, is in fourth. Then Corey Dyson, Dave Hutchin, Alan Arthurs and Adam Monday. Okay, we've got round 2 highlights for you now, and it's Jess Turner who gets the better of Matt Cerny there. So Jess Turner heads on through to the semi-finals. Stuart Johnston, he had a solo pass. He goes through to semi-final action. And now let's have a look. Craig Baker, Scott Wind, and it's Craig Baker. Reaction time, 0.059. And Baker, he goes through to the semi-finals of the modified eliminator. And it is now time for semi-final action. Craig Baker, who hasn't won since 2013, a bit of a dry spell for him, up against Stuart Johnson. Couple of Victorians here. 2 small block Chevy dragsters here, pretty evenly matched. They're running reasonably close in time. This is a pretty classic car for this class. Either a dragster or an altered with a small block in it. They're consistent. They don't cost a fortune to run, which is good. That's an entry-level class. But still heaps of fun and plenty fast at the same time. Nice reaction times, the pair of them, and it's Craig Baker who gets through an ET of 8.50.
Yeah, Johnston moved all over the place on that pass there. He headed straight to the wall from the second he hit the throttle. After that, he keeps trying to pull it back to the right, but whilst you've got the right tyre sticking to the track and the left one off in the marbles like that, it's going to keep driving you left into the wall. But good drive job, and a lot of commitment there to stay in the throttle and got the car to the other end of the racetrack safely. But that's a wild ride for a modified car.
Craig Baker gets through that wild ride into a final and be up against Jess Turner, a friend of yours out.
Jess's boyfriend Santino I race against in Top Fuel. He crew chiefs one of the cars that I race against frequently, and we hang out a little bit, and really nice girl, and Santino, great guy as well.
Turner's through. Jess Turner take on Craig Baker in the final of the modified eliminator. We progress on to Super Street. Let's first have a look at the leaderboard after round 3 up in Mildura. Alan Hutchin has the lead, 10 points clear of Jacob Mills, who's got a 70-point lead, if you don't mind, ahead of Tim Bryan, Paul Garbellini, Chris Thatchell, Sean Boyer, Craig Catton and Greg Holland round out the placings. We've got round 3 highlights for you now. And first up, Tony Barbara and Stephen Borg. It's Barbara, magnificent reaction time, 0.04. He finds his way into a semi-final here at Calder Park. Next duel, it's Chris Tatchell in the Tirana, Simon Lazaro in the Monaro. Have a look at these boys go. And Tatchell finds his way through to a semi-final here at Calder Park, as does Anton Krajina, who had a solo pass and is through to the semis. Super Street semi-final time now, and Tony Barbara, who beat Steve Borg to get through, up against Anton Krajina, who had the solo pass. We've got two boys here from Taylor's Hill, Aaron Hambridge.
Two beautiful cars here, classic Australian muscle cars, and this is grassroots racing. This is the entry level. You've got a hot street car, this is the class you come and run. And these two are almost identically matched. 1109 and 1107 dial-in. It's going to be one close race.
Anton Krajina, have a look at this, ET 1111. Over that 1109 dial-in time, Anton Krajina is through to a final here at Calder Park.
Racing doesn't get any closer than that. I'd have to get a calculator out to figure out what the margin of victory was, but it'd be in the thousandths of a second. That was a great race by both guys.
Chris Tatchell, who won last round up at Mildura, gets a nice solo entry here through to the final.
We'll see if he'll shut it off and take the safe path. Listen, if I was him, I'd be testing my dial-in, seeing how close I am, seeing what I need to adjust for the final, and make sure I've got the best package going into the next round.
Nice automobile, isn't it? The old 75 Tirana.
Yeah, they're a pretty car. 132 reaction time. He's going to have to sharpen that up for the next round, that's for sure. 038 from Krajina in the last one, 132. He's almost given up a whole tenth of a second right there.
And that's what he's got to do, Chris Tatchell. He's going to win the final, coming up shortly. Let's have a look at the junior dragsters. Always a highlight of the meet. Luke Versma and Joel Burns, 190 points apiece at the top of the leaderboard. Jasmine Slammer, Alana Cope, Madison Brand, Daniel Carranza, Melissa Spadaro, Sarah Donnelly. Have a look at that. Girls' germs beat boys' germs. We've got 5 chicks in the top 8. Magnificent stuff, ladies. Great work. And let's have a look now at round 2. Joel Burns and Jack Barias. And Burns, reaction time, 0.06. He's through to the semis. Luke Romeo taking on Callie Donnelly. Magnificent reaction times here. Romeo 0.02, but it's Donnelly, who had a 0.05, who gets it done down the strip. Donnelly through to the semis. Sarah Donnelly up against Bradley Bishop. Magnificent reaction times again. These kids are hot off the mark. It's Bishop who goes through. Daniel Carranza through as well in a solo pass. Semi-final time now, junior dragster style, and Daniel Carranza, Bradley Bishop, Aaron Hambridge, young Carranza, young lad from Victoria. You just went camping with him and his family, yeah?
Oh yeah, a little while ago. So last Christmas, just after Christmas, just before New Year's, I spent time with the Lamatinas and the Carranzas down there, and Ed and Mez, his parents, and great family. We had a great time down there. It was cool. It was really good. Good to hang out with some racers away from the racetrack.
I bet. All right, Carranza up against Bishop. Carranza, the reaction time. Oh, look at these now. Reaction time, 0.006 for Carranza. Bishop, 0.016. And it's Bradley Bishop who gets it done and wins this semi-final.
Yeah, Brad, local in Sydney. I've known Brad for a long time as well. His dad used to crew for me in my top alcohol car years ago. So I've known both those guys for a very long time now.
It's Bishop who goes through the final. Who takes on Bishop? It's either Joel Burns or Callie Donnelly.
Yeah, Joel, he's got a different engine in his car this weekend. I've got his big engine at the shop at the moment fixing it. They took it out for some testing, and we made a heap more power recently, and surprise, it actually broke it. We didn't realise the maintenance program would have to be so high on a junior dragster when you make that much power. But yeah, no, these things are a real little hot rod, that's for sure.
You're the most connected man in Australian drag racing, Aaron Hambridge. You're either camping with them or fixing their cars. There it is. It's Joel Burns who gets through to a final. Well done, Burnsy.
I'm here with Matt Forbes from Lucas Oil Racing. Matt, you've been a very busy boy, not just in Australia but overseas. Tell us about it.
Yeah, correct. We just arrived back from Los Angeles on Wednesday. We raced for 3 weeks in the NHRA. We raced 2 races in Las Vegas, a national event and the divisional event. Then last weekend we're at Pomona doing the World Finals.
And of course your schedule this weekend is very intense as well. You're not just racing one car, are you?
No, that's right. We're racing the top sportsman car, the Camaro, and the Supergas Corvette Roadster.
Well, Matt, I want to know the difference between racing the two. Do you have to adjust anything mentally or physically before you get in the car?
I guess it's more mental. One car's a door car. It's a fair bit hotter inside. It's you leave off the top bulb with the delay box, and it's a dial your own class, so you nominate your ET. Whereas Super Gas, it's just traditional. It's a Pro Tree, heads up, 990 class. Where two different styles of racing, but when you're in the staging lanes, you just get your mind together and work out what you've got to do.
Well, all the best for this weekend, Matt. Matt Forbes from Lucas Oil Racing, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Great work there from Becky Lamb with the Crocams pit report with Matty Forbes, who's in contention for the top sportsman. And have a look at this. So Forbes sits there in second spot on 190 behind Jason Stairs, who has reached the maximum of 300 points. Darren Saliba in third position. Frank Oliveri in fourth. Matty Forbes once again in action against Darren Saliba in his Pontiac. And it's Matty Forbes. Great reaction time. He goes through ET of 7.714. Now we can take a look at Paul Russo and Julian Carafa. Carafa in the Willys coupe, but not good enough for Paul Russo, who finds his way through to round two. Top sportsman, semi-final action, and we got Paul Russo. Had a couple of wins last year, looking for his first of this year, up against Matt Forbes, one of the only competitors who's running two different categories this weekend.
Yeah, I've never run two different categories. I've crew chiefed two cars at one race, and that was big enough, let alone having to drive two cars in one race. A lot of people think, oh, that sounds awesome, but it's a lot of pressure. The cars are different, the style of racing's different. He's got to make sure he doesn't mix up what he's doing in his head between the two cars. I've known some guys to even drive three cars at a race meeting, and yeah, I don't know how they do it.
So Matty Forbes is out of Super Gas, but has a real crack here. Semi-final of Top Sportsman. Reaction time of Russo, 0.17, and gets it done down the strip. ET 753 over a dial-in time of 750.
Yeah, great package there from Russo. Killer light, running really close to his dial-in. It's going to be hard to beat, that's for sure.
Well, Paul Russo through to a final, and hard to beat. Well, the challenge will be for Stuart McBain or Michael Braggs, who will feature now in semi-final number 2 here at Calder Park. McBain and Braggs.
If you have a look on the entry list this weekend, this whole class has been dominated by big block Chevys. Every single one is over 500 cubic inch, some over 600 cubic inch. That's around 10 litres. It's twice as big as your average Commodore engine. But yeah, really common engine. They're a great engine. They're like a workhorse. You don't have to rev them too hard. They make a ton of horsepower. They're one of the longest running engines in drag racing in general. But yeah, the big block Chevy's been done to death. And it's showing in this class by how many people are running them.
Oh, superior reaction time there from Braggs, but not good enough. It's McBain. McBain gets through.
Great run there by Braggs and McBain, but yeah, the car in the left lane, they're getting really out of shape again. That left lane, we've seen quite a few cars getting loose and moving around. There are a few bumps in this racetrack, and they really do unsettle the cars.
There you go, Michael Braggs, who his mum Leanne has been competing here as well. Fantastic stuff. See the families, Aaron.
Yeah, it really is a family sport, and it's great to see the next generation of racers coming through.
We move on through to the Super Gas leaderboard after our one and only round. Graham Spencer has the lead ahead of Daryl Stephen, Adrian McGroddy, Warren Bull, Jeff Romeo, Colin Griffin, Johnny Ienko and Frankie Fontanelli. They're on 20 points, rounding out our 8th place leaderboard. Let's have a look now at round 2 highlights of Super Gas. And Cole Griffin up against Daryl Stephen. And it's Griffin who goes through after Stephen Redlit, Joe Canazaranti and Roy Romeo. And Canazaranti, he heads through. Another red light. Roy Romeo out of the competition. Time now for our Super Gas semi-finals. We've got a couple of solo passes coming up here. Colin Griffin from Mount Ridley in Victoria, Aaron Hambridge.
Yeah, same again. We'll see if he pushes the limits with his car here. Super Gas is the only category in Andrew Drag Racing that has a pro tree but is still considered a sportsman category. So it's fixed index, 990, but they're on a pro tree. It's actually one of the trickiest classes in all of drag racing, to be honest. You'll see a lot of these cars leave the start line, travel about 10, 15 metres. All of a sudden, it's like they get off the throttle. They don't actually get off the throttle. Most of these cars are capable of running a lot faster than 990. So what they do is control the power to dial the car to only run 990. So they'll leave the start line, you'll see the front of the car drop, you'll hear the power back off, and the cars will almost sound like they're idling for, depending how much power they got, anywhere from 100, 200, 300 feet. Then all of a sudden, the car takes off again. They feed all the power back in, send it down the racetrack. Now that throttle stop is adjustable, so they'll adjust that to the conditions on the day to make sure that car runs dead on 990.
Joe Catanzariti, Cole Griffin, both through to the final. Aaron Hambridge, have a look at this.
A lot of luck, a little bit of skill. He managed to keep the car off the wall. Something's broken in that car.
Victor Fernandez from earlier today. Back soon with finals action. Welcome back to Calder Park. We're about to heat up for finals action. And Calder Park, did you know, Aaron Hambridge, was started by a group of farmers here in Diggers Rest who wanted to race their FJ Holdens. So they started a dirt track in the middle of a paddock, and now we've got this magnificent arena here today.
It's not the craziest story I've ever heard in motorsport, but hey, everything's got to start somewhere.
And these lads and these girls in the junior dragsters are doing magnificently well, starting their reputation in the sport. In the final, Joel Burns up against Bradley Bishop.
Yeah, these two guys here, these are the future of drag racing, both these guys here. Joel's dad, Craig, there is one of the premier chassis builders in the country. He's built cars like John Zappier's Door Slammer. He's front half my Top Fuel car just recently. He's one of the best chassis guys this country's got.
All right, Burns v. Bishop. Burns, a reaction time. Have a look at him down the strip. It's Joel Burns. Our victor today at Calder Park, an ET of 8.116 over a dial-in of 809. Joel Burns.
Look at the racing skill these kids are developing. Look at them looking over. They're jumping on the brakes. They're getting off early. They're doing whatever they can to win. That's unreal.
First of all, I'd like to thank Bradley Bishop for an awesome race, only 4,000ths in the end. My sponsors, Motorsport Database, FCF Race Cars, Lucas Oils, my family for everything, and Andrew for a great event. Thank you.
Oh, well-spoken young man. Joel Burns there of SCF Race Cars. On top of the leaderboard, 100 points clear of Luke Versmanow, then Daniel Carranza. Great work from Dan. He's in third spot. Sarah Donnelly, Jasmine Slammer, Alana Cope, Madison Brown, and Bradley Bishop rounds us out. Super Street final here at Calder Park. And it's Chris Tatchell up against Anton Krajina.
Yeah, Krajina had an unreal reaction time last pass and ran really close to his dial-in, so it's going to be a really good matchup.
Chris Tatchell, fresh from his win in Mildura. What can he do at Calder Park?
Just looking in now, Chris Tatchell's got a Holden 308 engine in that car. A lot of people refer to them as a plastic engine because they tend to break a little easy. But hey, I got a real soft spot for these things. We build a lot of them at work. They're a tough engine when built properly.
The ones you built wouldn't break?
No, of course not, sure.
Tatchell, reaction time goes bang! Chris Tatchell, an ET of 11.88 over a dial-in of 11.90.
Yeah, he really sharpened up reaction time. Like I said, from the last round, he's gone from I think it was a 132 to an 016. Like, that's a great improvement. That's winning the race.
My son Jordan, like, he come all the way with me all the time to all of my meetings and that. Like, and after running Whaler last weekend, then here this weekend, then Swanee with an Adelaide, it's sort of big month ahead, so it's been really good.
Oh, sweet stuff there, the father-son combo. Chris Tatchell, 20 points clear now of Alan Hutchin, Jacob Mills, Anton Krajina is in fourth, Tim Bryan, Paul Garbellini Simon Lazaro and Tony Barbara. Super Gas final action. Colin Griffin taking on Joe Catanzariti.
Both these guys opted to not make a full pass in the semis. They just staged a car, took the green and backed out. So, I don't know, with the conditions changing, it's starting to cool down, the sun's going off the racetrack now, I don't know, I thought they would have wanted to test their cars and see how close they run to the 990 to make any adjustments they had to for the final, but these guys do race a lot, so they know their cars well.
Oh, Catanzariti out of this race. Cole Griffin.
He spotted that red light a mile away. He was celebrating by 300 feet.
Catanzariti out. Cole Griffin takes the win here at Calder Park.
Goes 10.23. You could see he was on. You could hear that he was on and off the gas there towards the end. He knew he didn't need to run the car at the back and do anything silly to win the race. He had that done on the start line.
Tragic stuff there, Catanzariti. Well done to Cole Griffin, our Super Gas champ at Calder Park.
I was a bit disappointed in my last effort up in Mildura. Went out first round, so that's a bit disappointing. But I'm really happy with this event because I haven't got my wife here helping me, and I even got my son here helping me today. So that's really great, So it's been some good racing, put on a good event. So thank you very much.
The whole Griffin family around the Christmas tree there. Great stuff. And now Colin finds himself 120 points, equal first spot. Slips into third, though, there on our leaderboard. Daryl Stephen Graham Spencer ahead of him. Adrian McGroddy, Joe Catanzariti, and then Warren Bull, Warren Smith, and Jeff Romeo. Final action now. Modified bike here, the Roe Memorial Trophy. Magnificent day at Calder Park, and we'll see who can get it done. Gavin Don't or Matty Lyle?
Yeah, see Matty Lyle there with the number 1 New South Wales on the front of that bike there. So, we're state versus state here, Victoria, New South Wales. We'll see who can come up on top.
I'm going for Don't the Victorian. And you're a New South Welshman.
I'm going to go for Matty.
Victoria is victorious. It's Gavin Don't of Henty in Victoria.
Matt, they're doing the right thing, running the bike out the back, enjoying the ride. I'm sure he saw that red light, he'll be kicking himself.
Bad luck though. Garmin Verb replay.
It must have put Gavin off his game though a little bit. He went 260 for his light on the... That's terrible. Any other day and that would get beat.
I do have to thank a few people. We've had some dramas with the bike. I have to thank Robbie Cassar and Tony Frost for their help today with the bike. LV Don't Co Forestry and Port Hall Haulage, they also help out with the bike. But it's been a big day for all of us. We've had the bike apart more times than I have in the last 6 months. So it's been a fantastic day, really good.
Gavin Don't Give Up, magnificent stuff, wins the war of attrition. Matty Lyle still on top of the leaderboard. 20 points ahead of Robert Redford there, Gordon Crawford. Brian Finn is in third, Leith Darrach, then Gavin Don't in fifth spot after taking out the win here at Calder Park. Finals action now for our super sedans, and Johnny Kapiris, 4-time reigning champion. He's holding HQ up against Sinisha Scrunjug in the Ford Cortina.
Yeah, Johnny's going to be hard to beat here. He's got the form, 4 championships, the guy's the best in the category at the moment. But hey, there can always be an upset.
Is it Sinisha Scrunjug that can deliver that upset? We're about to find out.
Sinisha here with a bigger engine, got a big block on board. Johnny's only got the small block Chevy, so in theory, Sinisha should have the advantage here.
No good.
Nah, Sinisha's got issues. There's smoke coming from underneath that car. Either it's leaking something under the exhaust, or there's a hole in it, or not happy, not at all.
Well, for Johnny Kapiris, great stuff. First event win of the year, takes it out. Oh no,
yeah, he's unimpressed.
Gee, that's tragic, isn't it?
Listen, I can understand it. I've been in finals before, and there's a lot of pressure, and you work your butt off to get there.
Johnny Kapiris, home and hosed. See, sponsored by St Bernard's Fruit and Veg.
You look there, he's got 989 on a 988, 076 light. Sinisha would have been having to do really well to win that race anyway. Not to say it was impossible, but that was a really great run by Johnny, and he deserves that win.
We'll have another look now, Garmin Verb replay.
Pretty textbook run there, nothing out of the ordinary. Nice and easy, runs it straight down the racetrack. Great pass.
I'd like to thank Calder Park Raceway, all track staff, Andra, couple special mentions to Sherry and Tony. They helped me out a lot with accommodation and obviously at the track as well. I'd like to thank all my sponsors, and it was a good race meeting, good competitors. Unfortunately, I couldn't race my opponent because I think he cooked his converter on start line, which is drag racing.
It is indeed, and Johnny Kapiris now second spot, just 20 points off the lead. Peter Zokas remains top of the leaderboard. George Tipakidis is in third. Then 40 points back, Danny Buchella, Steve Hunt, Chris Paris, Daniel Franklin and Michael Jennings. Final time for Modified Eliminator. We've got Craig Baker. Hasn't had a win since 2013. He's qualified out of 8th position in the final up against Jess Turner.
Yeah, it's a long time for a win, but in a class like Modified, it's super tough, and there's a lot of competitors. So to not win for a few years, that's nothing to have your head down about, that's for sure. This is a tough class. A lot of people compete in it. You've got races from every major state, a lot of regional races as well. It's a really tough bracket.
Who's going to win this?
It's anybody's guess.
Hey, thumbs up Craig Baker.
Yeah, he's nice and relaxed. For someone going into a final, that's a good sign to see. And just by the look of his eyes, I can't see his mouth, but I reckon he's smiling in there too. He might know something we don't. He's in front of the tree so far.
It's Craig Baker. Takes it out. Modified Eliminator. Calder Park champ.
Yeah, he's had the better combination on the day. The better reaction time. Closer to his dial in. Great run. He deserves that win.
An ET of 8.55 over a dial in of 8.47.
Yeah, Jess Turner though. No slouch. That car's, that's a fast modified car. There aren't too many modified cars running the low sevens. So, you know, unlucky for Jess. She just needed to sharpen up on the tree a little bit. But I'm sure next race she'll be right there.
Fantastic. I can't believe it actually. It was a tough race all day. The competitors in Modified Eliminator are just a fantastic bunch of people, but they're also very tough. So to go rounds with these guys is just fantastic. So good on them and good on me for holding this baby right here. But Paul Rogers Performance Transmissions on the car, he does a great job for a lot of the sportsman races. Wayne Cartledge, Racecom Motorsports, the engine performed fantastically all day. The crew, my beautiful wife Audrey at the top of the list obviously, the boys Josh and Tim, my sister comes out every time we're in Melbourne. Jack, thank you very much. But look, I'm going to dedicate this to a special friend of mine who lost his life a lot of years ago, and he'd be looking over me right now, you know, with a big smile on his face. So this one's for you, Archie. Good on you, mate.
Oh, how magnificent too. Craig Baker, he's now there, 150 points, equal second spot with Leanne Braggs. Jess Turner, even though lost out in the final, does have a championship lead at the minute. 10 points, fantastic stuff. Zach Shepherd, he's in 4th spot. Time now to decide the top sportsman of the day. Our final featuring Paul Russo up against Stuart McBain.
Old Chev versus new Chev. 57 Chev there in the left lane. You're going to find it hard pressed to find anybody that doesn't like that body shape. It is classic. Everybody likes it. You know, it's synonymous with some of the biggest races in the country. Victor Bray, you know, everyone loves it. The Lumina in the right lane there, as a NASCAR, they're actually a great looking race car. I love them. You know, you go back to the cars in the movie Days of Thunder, stuff like that. That was the body shape they were produced on. And I'd just take a guess that that car there, possibly an ex-pro stock car from the mid-90s, but yeah, and also another pretty car.
Final preparations. Just seconds away from our top sportsman final at Calder Park. Nice reaction time, the pair of them. McBain had the better of it. 0.16, Russo 0.19, but Russo down the strip gets it done and the win. ET 7.613 over a dial in of 7.49.
Yeah, Russo really mowed him down there. He drove past that car almost like it was standing still. You know, he did have the faster car coming into the round, but he just ran a lot closer to that dial-in and, showed his muscle there.
It's Aaron Hambridge in special comments, the Garmin Verb replay, and Paul Russo, our champion for the day in Top Sportsman.
Yeah, it feels awesome. Feels great. Happy we won a tree. Happy to race Stuart. He got me on the tree, but I got him at the end, so I'm pretty happy. Also, I'd like to thank my sponsors. Thank Andrew, all the crew, VP Fuels, and like to thank the officials and everyone that helped, all the volunteers. And thanks, Stewie, for letting me win.
Nice work there. Paul Russo, 4th spot. Matty Forbes jumps up, even though out in the semi-finals, just 50 points off the lead of Jason Stairs, who has reached the 300-point ceiling. Darren Saliba in 3rd. Michael Bragg's over there with Frank Oliveri in 6th. Supercharged Outlaws final action here. Craig Curtis up against Jason Kiley. And Craig Curtis looking for a Cinderella story here. Hasn't had a win in 11 years.
No, he goes to a lot of race meetings too, and this car runs really hard. I've followed this car for a long time. It's one of my early memories of racing at the old Eastern Creek Raceway in Sydney. This car, along with a whole bunch of others, used to come up from Melbourne. And from what I can remember, I used to go there on Wednesday nights for the street meets, and these supposed street cars, as you can see, it's got a number plate, so it's a street car. You can jump in that and go get the milk for sure. But guys like Craig and a whole bunch of other guys used to come there, and it was awesome. They're some of my earliest and most favourite memories of racing in this country.
Magnificent stuff. Great insight. And Craig Curtis, wouldn't it be special? So up against Jason Kiley, also looking for something special here today.
Yeah, this car, pretty as we spoke about before, all it's missing is the bullet holes in the door.
Curtis v. Kiley. Similar reaction time there as they go down the strip. Craig Curtis, first time in 11 years. It's been a dry spell. It's been like a desert. Have a look at this. Craig Curtis finally breaks through. Magnificent stuff.
And he had to drive the balls off that car there. The thing went left, started to shake the tyres. I think even the door popped open from the tyre shake. And he still shut it off early, so that was a really good run.
How about that? ET of 6.36 over a dial-in of 6.04. Craig Curtis, first win in 11 years.
Just like to thank me crew, Danny, Chase, me brother, me old brother, and mate that couldn't be here, Shonky. He did a lot of work on the car, and I'd just like to... He's missed very much. But no, this is great. Goes next to the gold one, 2005 in Sydney, so that's great. It's tremendous.
Oh, isn't that magic stuff? Great work there. Craig Curtis. We have a look at the points board. It's Justin Russell, 30-point lead over the Huntsman Mark Hunt, Doina Day, Adam Murray, Jason Kiley, Alan Mankoff, then Mark Zausch and Craig Curtis there. 100 points. Well done, that man. The moment has arrived, the headline act. It's the final of the Super Comp, competing for the Rowe Memorial Trophy, celebrating and commemorating Andrew and Wayne Rowe. And Aaron Hambridge in special comments, Wayne Rowe, a special guy in your life.
Yeah, so I was talking earlier, I worked with Wayne on Santa Upsider's top fuel car. I was doing one cylinder, he was doing the other. It was my first time at the track, I was young, thought I knew everything, thought I was fit and fast and I'd be a gun. Wayne pulled that cylinder head off and had it back on probably in about 70% of the time it took me. I'm sweating and dying trying to keep up. And honestly, he did it with a smile and looked like he hadn't even broke a sweat. It killed me, but one of the nicest guys I've met in this sport so far.
Oh, tremendous stuff. The Dandenong boys, the Rowe brothers, very special people in this sport. And let's see who can take home the trophy. Tom Dimitropoulos or Darren Parker. Dimitropoulos, the better of the reaction time. 0.128. And Tommy Dimitropoulos takes it out. Our Rowe Trophy champion, here he comes. It is Tommy Dimitropoulos. What a sensational result. An ET of 7.56 over a dial-in of 777.
Yeah, it goes 2/10 under his index there. Just absolutely killed it. Car ran nice and straight, got a little bit loose at the start, but yeah, unreal run. Well deserved. Just a better car in the day.
Yeah, no, I thought I'd change it and go back to my original. I used to always have Thomas racing on my car. I just want to thank my family, my wife, my crew, just everyone. And yeah, it's a good win.
Winners are grinners. Great stuff, Tommy. Let's have a look at competition leaderboard. Craig Geddes. Then we've got David DeQuinn, Nathan Coles, Steve Athens, Shane Baxter. And then over in Superstock, Kim Fardella and Graham Sims, 170 apiece. Back there to Louis Sfingos and Jamie Chasty. Oh, what a terrific day of drag racing here at Calder Park. Tommy Dimitropoulos, who takes out the Road Trophy, and Craig Curtis, the first win in 11 years, Aaron Hambridge.
Yeah, no, it's good to see Craig back on top again. And, listen, great race, great facility in the name of two great people in our sport.
Absolutely tremendous stuff. That's been Aaron Hambridge in special comments, and we can hear the very nice dulcet tones of Aaron again for the Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series Round 6 action, Jan 21-22 on the southwest coast of Victoria in Portland, and the Australian Nationals, the big one, January 28-29, Calder Park Raceway, back here at the Coliseum of Motorsport in Melbourne. But that sees us out for today. Thank you very much for your company. We'll catch you next time on Andrew Drag Racing.
Don't go anywhere, because after the break we return to Sydney Motorsport Park for our continued coverage of the Shannons Nationals.